Okay, so this is part 2 of my cyberspace tutorial series. This time I'm going to be doing Airy Silent, starting with 2-1. So you start by simply spin dashing forward. Most of the time, just this simple act of spin dashing will make you get a bit of air here, and basically have this sort of trajectory, which will make it directly onto this platform here. That's what you want ideally. Here I got a trajectory that put me under here because I didn't get the weird spin dash bounce that you usually get. So to back that up, you just jump up here. It happens sometimes. It's what you gotta deal with. It's a bit slower. Then here you spin dash to the end of this platform and then jump here. Then after getting launched from that dash ring, you wanna press jump as soon as it's possible to do so, and then whenever you can, immediately mag dash off that spring. You have to do it really early because if you do it a bit too late, you are gonna end up smacking directly into this V and dying. Would not recommend. Make sure you hold the mag dash all the way over to here to where you hit the ground, then spin dash forward. Then here, when you fall off this ledge, you're gonna want to release your spin dash, because then that will give you a little bit of extra height, which will put you onto this rail, and just push forward on this rail, which puts you into this dash ring. And then a little optimization you can do here that I didn't do is right after you leave this dash ring, you can stomp here. It is a bit faster since you get to start spin dashing earlier, but that's also fine. Then just spin dash again here, and you make it fine over those gaps. Don't be scared of them. Then just keep spin dashing forward. Once again, more gaps to make it over. And then here, when you spin dash onto this platform, you can press the spin dash button again here to regain speed. The way I do it though is I let my speed go down here, because that lines me up right here, which makes it a lot easier to mag dash on this balloon. So you mag dash, release it so that you fit into this gap, and then spin dash forward. Then you there's a lot of platforms here. It looks like a mess. Just make sure you spin dash off that platform that you came from and stomp directly into here, and that'll line you up perfectly to land down here. Don't get confused by the entire platform mess, you only need to land on that specific one. Then stomp past the spring, spin dash back to the spring, and here's gonna be the first 3D and 2D of the entire game. This one's quite tricky. You wanna hit the spring and then stomp on this platform before you reach the one on top. You don't want to let the spring jumping animation finish, so just stomp here. And then here comes the hardest part of the stage. You have to spin dash, holding down right to move towards the screen and away from the stage. And then like when you're far away enough, which is like really fast, you want to switch to holding right and mag dash right immediately. And then mag dash should put you all the way up here. Sometimes you don't get as much height and you land over a little further to the right instead. That's fine if you're just starting out. Just land there and run back up. Then here, you want to jump over to the left and mag dash on the spring. Make sure you're not too close to it, because you don't want to get too much height, because otherwise you're not going to get much horizontal speed at all. But also make sure you're not way too high, so that you get horizontal trajectory and then falling way too fast. Like basically, if you mag dash from like here, you're gonna get this sort of trajectory. If you mag dash from here, you're gonna get this sort of trajectory. Both of these are bad. What you want is to be roughly around here-ish, so that you get this sort of trajectory, which is like basically exactly what you want. Once you're roughly at the peak of your mag dash, you want to jump. and ideally you will land close to the goal and finish. You can also land a bit earlier on, and that's fine, but it's probably going to be a little slower, which is not what you want when you're speedrunning. Up next is 2-2. For this one, you want to spin dash forward, jump, boost, jump, and they'll put you onto this platform, this edge right here. Then you want to spin dash off of that, jump here, and do a mag dash off this B. This mag dash sucks because there's just a massive invisible wall, like pretty much right here. I drew that pretty badly. Be something like this. So you need to like get really close to the B in order to go around the invisible wall, because otherwise, like if you try to mag dash super early, you're just not gonna make it around it. You're just gonna go next to the invisible wall and hit it and not go past it, and your run's dead. So make sure you wait long enough so that you're past the invisible wall. If you don't want to do that yet, or if you're going for cyberspace challenge, you can just homing attack the beam and then boost forward, and then go over here, homing attack this spring, and the spring should like take you on a safer path around and onto a different spring where you can just go onto this platform or any of these really. Then here I land on this platform and then go to the next one. It's possible to land on this one directly, but it's a bit harder and riskier because this platform's like missing a chunk. So I chose to go onto this one first. Then here I spin dash, then jump, and mag dash on the spring. This is really hard. There's like, you're like super close to the death plane right here, so you're gonna have to practice all of this a lot if you want to get this cleanly. Another thing you can do is, especially like if you're doing cyberspace challenges, instead of landing on these two platforms, since you're coming from the other set of springs that I explained earlier anyway, you can land on this platform, which is the third one, and then spin dash down, jump, and instead of mag dashing off of this spring, you mag dash off of this one, and that's a lot safer when you're coming from like up there, because like if you try to mag dash off this one, you're just gonna go forward and die there. And yeah, that's basically 2-2. Up next there's 2-3. It's a pretty standard stage. So you want to start by spin dashing and then jump over this thing. It feels slow, that's just how this level works. You want to homing attack those springs there, then boost forward here, and stomp to start spin dashing here. Then basically when you reach this line on the ground roughly, you want to jump, and then double jump, and make sure you get enough height to homing attack this spring. You don't want to boost to reach that because of what we're about to do. So once you leave that spring, you want to mag dash off of that same spring that you just left. So what I do is, you know, when I hit the spring, I start holding left, and then I start the mag dash when Sonic hits this red ring. So I let Sonic hit this red ring while holding left, then homing attack, and then press right as soon as possible after the homing attack, and then boost. I'm bad at writing letters on screen. Hope that is clear enough. But yeah, if you mag dash correctly there, you will land on this platform. You want to stomp and spin dash off of it. I just keep air dashing, which will put you onto that dash ring. Then when you want to jump over that spring and that balloon and mag dash off of this one, just keep going. Once again, jump over that thing, mag dash the first blue balloon, and homing attack that spring. then spin dash on the loop, jump. Roughly when hitting this line-ish, you want to jump. So we'll make Sonic go down like that. And then when you are roughly here, you know, this is the first visual cue, you jump down, and then when Sonic reaches this place roughly, you jump again, and that should get you high enough that you can Mac Dash on this balloon. It can be really hard when you're not used to it, so you have to practice that a lot. Kind of the theme with Ares, it's harder stages. And yeah, stomp to reach the goal, and that's the 3. For 2-4, you once again start by spin dashing forward. You can sidestep to the right on this wall to gain a bit more speed, but basically the issue with sidestepping onto this wall is that when you try to jump over, the wall half the time is just gonna eat your jump and you're gonna fall into here and die. So do that at your own risk. And yeah, just jump and boost there. There's also a little thing you can do here. It's called the dashpad glitch. There's roughly this sort of area around here, where if you stomp, the game will try to move you over to the center of this loop thing, and the dashpad will essentially keep that speed that the game was moving you with, and you'll like zoom super fast in that direction. This is incredibly precise, and I don't recommend going for it unless you're really good at the stage, but it is an option, so I figured I might as well mention it. Then yeah, keep spin dashing forward, jump and Mac Dash off of that. And here there are 2 options. One of them is what I call angle check, and the other one is angle check skip. So for angle check, which is the faster option, I believe, you want to land up here, then Mac Dash off of the first B while holding up and slightly left. It's a pretty specific angle, but if you're good at holding pretty specific angles, that might be the thing for you. What I do instead is angle check skip, where you go over to this side, jump here, and Mac Dash with the B, which you can do by basically holding directly forward. Then, regardless of which method you do, you want to jump here, and you're gonna want to basically land on this guardrail here and sidestep left. Note that in cyberspace, you can buffer sidestep presses while you're midair, so that you will start sidestepping when you hit the ground. You cannot do that in open zone because you would dodge instead. So keep that in mind while you're playing cyberspace stages, because it's really useful, and it's also really hard to get used to if you aren't used to it already. So then after that, you want to Mac Dash off that bar, jump to keep your speed, and then stomp directly onto these dash pads and go to the end of the stage, where you just jump around this robot and Mac Dash directly to the goal. 2-5 is a bit of an annoying stage. Not much you can do on this rail or on these platforms, you just kind of go up them as intended and boost here. Then what I do here is I homing attack this robot. Some people who are insane will Mac Dash off of the lower one and try to go over here. I would not recommend it unless you're like really good at the game. So here you're gonna basically want to wait a little bit for this thing to move out of the way, so otherwise you're gonna hang on to it and it's just really slow. And then spin dash so that you fit through that gap. Once again, waiting a little more is safer, but you know, waiting loses time, so that's how it is. Then just spin dash over here. Then you want to Mac Dash off of that spring and jump whenever you can. Make sure you don't jump too late, because like, as much as the rail curves here, if you are not touching the rail, the game does not care and will just let you keep moving forward and you're gonna die. So, you know, be careful about that. Here you hit those dash rings, spin dash there to reach this cloud and turn around. This cloud is a bit awkward to navigate on, but you know, it's just how it is. And then you want to mag dash on that blue balloon. And then here you want to jump. I usually aim for this gap here in order to jump. When Sonic is aligned with that gap, I jump. I guess here I jump a little bit earlier. I don't know why. I don't know what was going through this creature's head at the time, but who knows? All sorts of things happen there all the time, so, you know. Then you spin dash up that thing, and when you're basically at the peak of the trajectory, you want to do an air dash, and then just jump over here and spin dash to the end. I did not spin dash to the end. Once again, you know, silliness, but that's 2-5. Up next is 2-6, which is a stage. You want to jump basically as soon as possible here. Though you gotta be careful, because like there's an invisible wall that goes roughly like, you know, over here, and then there's another piece over here. So one thing you can do is go over the invisible wall on this side, but then you're gonna try to go over there and you're gonna hit it. So make sure you don't go over that invisible wall and you stick over like to this side, which, you know, it's what I do here. You can see that Sonic's like sort of sliding on the invisible wall here, which basically lets you know that you did that fine. Then you want to land on this platform, jump over here and mag dash and land on that rail, and then skip the entire rest of the stage. So you can just mag dash right away, or one thing I do sometimes to be safe is first hit the spring once, and hitting the spring makes it go up, because you're supposed to like hit it repeatedly to make it continue going upwards. But you know, I just hit it once so that it's like roughly here, and that gives me a bit more height on the mag dash when I go over there, which, you know, height is going to be needed, so yeah. Regardless of how you do that, you mag dash, you jump, make sure you jump before you hit the invisible wall here. You know, there's an invisible wall roughly goes like this, and I'm about to hit it, and so I jumped like right here basically. I jumped very close to the invisible wall, but yeah. You just want to keep holding that direction basically, and here's where the fun begins, because the camera is going to turn in a bunch of directions, and you're going to have to avoid some death planes and some fun stuff. So yeah, make sure you're going roughly towards that direction, and just, you know, when the camera faces that way, you start moving right. Then when the camera turns that direction, you start moving left. Then right here, I usually like aiming for like these islands, like roughly around here-ish, because there's a massive death plane over here. Over there, there's a death plane, and over here, there's an invisible wall. And like down here-ish, there's another death plane. So you're gonna want to like aim for this area. It's preferred to aim like a little left if you're gonna make a mistake, because then you're gonna just hit the invisible wall and you can do a little adjustment to go past it, like this. However, if you go too far right, you're just gonna hit the death plane and die, so, you know, try not to do that. Then the camera's gonna go down, and like here you can basically tell how well you did, because this path over here is roughly the direction you want to be going. So if you're aligned with this path, then that means that you've been doing everything correctly. Yay. And a little bit after the camera goes back to normal and you're able to move it around again, that's when you have already cleared like all the stuff. So when you're able to move the camera back to normal, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want, which in this case is gonna be going towards this island over here, which is where you start going to the end of the stage basically. And in this island there's like a lot of places you can land and make something out of it. So if you land right like here-ish, you can spin dash up this ramp and then like do something else from here. If you land like further over here, you can mag dash off one of these enemies. You can also spin dash off here. There's a lot of things you can do, and like depending on where you land, you might want to improvise one way or another. Here I landed down here, and there just so happens to be this bee. So I believe I mag dash off it. Yeah. And then here, from whatever you do there, you're gonna make it to the goal. There's an invisible wall here. There's a couple more invisible walls in the way, but you know, this is the main one. Don't worry about it. You can just go around it this way. You can also go around it the other way. It's fine. You're gonna be okay. Just trust the process and, you know, just make it to the goal. And up next is 2-7. 2-7 starts with a rather awkward maneuver here. You want to do a stump bounce, where you just hold the stump button to get a little more height and boost as soon as that bounce comes out, and then double jump to get on this platform. Then here you want to turn around, which can be a little awkward, you're gonna have to get used to it, and mag dash off that robot enemy there. And here is, like, in my opinion, like one of the coolest things in this level, and also like Ares in general, which is the spin charge attack cancel, or SCAC. So you're gonna homing attack the enemy. It's kind of like a mag dash, but instead of just, you know, homing attacking and then boosting away, you're gonna start charging a spin dash, which will let you attack through the enemy while maintaining your speed, so that you can then boost forward and keep going. One thing to note is that doing this has a random chance of killing you. So if you're doing everything correctly and you still die, sorry, there's nothing you can really do. The reason why you can't really mag dash to do this is because, like, if you just homing attack the enemy and keep boosting forward, then you're just gonna smack into it and get hit. Another thing you can do is, if you don't want to deal with that, is simply just jump and boost over this enemy and land like roughly here, and then do a normal mag dash from this side. That used to be the old strat before spin charge attack cancel was discovered, so you can do that if you don't want to deal with the randomness. Then here you want to mag dash off that spring. No idea why it's there. You were not ever supposed to go up there, but you know, it's really convenient. And make sure you hold the mag dash. A lot of other times you want to pretty much jump right away. Here you want to hold the mag dash because the 2D section is gonna curve you this way, and if you jump, that's gonna make Sonic want to keep going this way regardless, and it's a lot slower. And you will land here. So after that, you wanna boost left and mag dash off of that robot enemy. This is incredibly hard, and it's like, funnily enough, more inconsistent than the literally random thing that I mentioned a moment ago. But you know, it is a strat. Alternatively, you can just make it over the gap normally. It's slower, but it's what you gotta do if you want consistency. And here, Sonic is gonna go over here, hit that spring, just boost to the right as soon as possible, spin dash, and here, this is a section that I I and other people refer to as gambling, because pretty much on both of these spirals there's a random chance that your spin dash just starts going upwards, like you hit something and just get sent into the air. To avoid that, just keep mashing the stomp button while you are on these spirals at all times, so that if you get launched upwards, you will return to the ground and just be fine. Then here, you're gonna release the spin dash button before you go off the edge, so that you can jump here while keeping your speed, and boost into the other spiral path. And then same thing, spin dash up this thing while pressing the stomp button a bunch of times to avoid losing the gambling fun thing. And that's 2-7 last level of Ares. Yay!